Hello everyone, and welcome to our channel. We're excited to have you here with us today as we explore the amazing largest nomadic sheep farming in China. Please ensure that you watch this video until the very end, as we have something extraordinary to reveal to you. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Nomadic sheep farming in China has a long and rich history, deeply intertwined with the country's vast, diverse landscapes and the cultural heritage of various ethnic groups. While modern technological advances have transformed many aspects of agriculture in China, nomadic sheep farming remains a vital practice, particularly in the northern and western regions. These areas, including Inner Mongolia, Xinjiang, and the Tibetan Plateau, are home to some of the largest and most significant nomadic sheep farming communities. The practice of nomadic sheep farming in China is more than an economic activity. It is a way of life that connects communities to the land, their ancestors, and the livestock that have sustained them for centuries. This in-depth exploration will delve into the history, cultural significance, geographical spread, techniques, challenges, and future of the largest nomadic sheep farming in China, particularly in regions such as Inner Mongolia, Xinjiang, and Tibet. Nomadic sheep farming in China has roots that stretch back thousands of years. Pastoralism, as practiced by the nomadic peoples of Inner Asia, is an ancient form of livestock management that has endured despite significant historical and environmental changes. The vast steppes, plateaus, and grasslands of northern China provided an ideal environment for sheep herding, leading to the development of a nomadic lifestyle centered around the seasonal movement of livestock. Historically, nomadic herders in China relied on their ability to move their flocks across vast distances, following the natural cycles of the seasons to ensure that their animals had access to fresh grazing land. This system of transhumance, the seasonal migration between summer and winter pastures, allowed pastoralists to avoid overgrazing and make the most efficient use of the natural environment. Inner Mongolia, for example, has been a center of nomadic sheep farming for millennia. The Mongols, renowned for their horseback skills and livestock management, developed sophisticated systems of nomadic pastoralism that are still in practice today. Similarly, Xinjiang and the Tibetan Plateau have long been home to ethnic groups such as the Kazakhs and Tibetans, whose lives are centered around the care and management of sheep and other livestock. In many of China's nomadic cultures, sheep are not only a source of sustenance and income, but also carry deep symbolic and cultural significance. Sheep have historically been a measure of wealth and social status in these communities, and their management is often associated with rites of passage, religious ceremonies, and social gatherings. In Tibetan culture, for instance, sheep are seen as a gift from the gods, and their wool and meat play central roles in traditional Tibetan life. The thick wool of Tibetan sheep is woven into blankets, clothing, and tents, while their meat is a staple in the Tibetan diet. Similarly, in Mongolian and Kazakh cultures, sheep are integral to many traditional festivals and ceremonies, and the ability to successfully manage a large flock is seen as a sign of a family's prosperity. Nomadic sheep farming in China is concentrated in the vast grasslands and mountainous regions of Inner Mongolia, Xinjiang, and Tibet. These areas provide the open spaces and grazing lands necessary for the nomadic pastoral system to thrive. Inner Mongolia, a vast autonomous region in northern China, is home to some of the largest and most well-known nomadic sheep farming operations. The Mongolian Plateau, with its sweeping steppes and grasslands, is ideally suited to sheep herding. The Mongolian sheep, a hardy breed known for its thick wool and ability to survive in harsh conditions, is central to the region's pastoral economy. In Inner Mongolia, nomadic herders move their flocks between summer and winter pastures. During the summer months, herders take their sheep to higher altitude grazing lands, where the grass is lush and abundant. As winter approaches, they move to lower elevations, where the land is more protected from the harsh winds and cold temperatures. Yurts, the portable round tents traditionally used by Mongolian herders, allow for easier location as herders follow the seasonal migration patterns of their livestock. This mobility is essential to maintaining the health of the land and preventing overgrazing, which is a major concern in the fragile grassland ecosystems of Inner Mongolia. Xinjiang, China's westernmost province, is another key region for nomadic sheep farming. The Kazakhs, one of the largest ethnic groups in Xinjiang, are known for their nomadic herding practices, particularly in the Altai Mountains and the Tian Shan Range. The Kazakh sheep, a breed well adapted to the region's arid and mountainous conditions, is a staple of the Kazakh diet and economy. Like their counterparts in Inner Mongolia, Kazakh herders practice transhumance, moving their flocks to high-altitude pastures in the summer and lowland areas in the winter. Xinjiang's diverse landscape, which includes deserts, mountains, and grasslands, allows for a variety of grazing environments. In the Tian Shan Mountains, Kazakh herders move their sheep to summer pastures that are rich in vegetation, while the winter months are spent in the lower, more protected valleys. The Tibetan Plateau, often referred to as the roof of the world, is another critical area for nomadic sheep farming in China. The plateau's high altitude and harsh climate make it a challenging environment for agriculture, but sheep and other livestock have long been central to the livelihood of the Tibetan nomads, or Drokpa. The Tibetan sheep, known for its ability to thrive in cold, high-altitude environments, is central to Tibetan nomadic life. The wool from Tibetan sheep is used to make clothing, blankets, and tents, while their meat is a key part of the Tibetan diet. The Drokpa move their flocks between summer and winter pastures in a pattern similar to that of other nomadic herders in China. The summer pastures, located at higher elevations, provide abundant grass for the sheep, while the winter pastures in the valleys offer shelter from the harsh winds and snow. Techniques and practices in nomadic sheep farming. Transhumance and migration patterns. One of the defining characteristics of nomadic sheep farming in China is the practice of transhumance, or the seasonal movement of livestock between different grazing areas. This system allows herders to make the most efficient use of the land, ensuring that their sheep always have access to fresh, nutritious grass. In Inner Mongolia, herders move their flocks to high-altitude pastures during the summer, where the grass is rich and plentiful. As winter approaches, they descend to lower elevations, where the land is more sheltered from the cold and wind. This pattern is essential to preventing overgrazing and maintaining the health of the grasslands. Similarly, in Xinjiang and Tibet, herders follow a similar seasonal migration pattern, moving between summer and winter pastures. In these regions, the high-altitude summer pastures provide excellent grazing opportunities, while the lower winter pastures offer protection from the elements. Sheep breeding and herd management. Nomadic herders in China have developed sophisticated systems for managing and breeding their sheep. In regions like Inner Mongolia, herders carefully select sheep for their hardiness, wool quality, and ability to thrive in the harsh conditions of the steppe. The Mongolian sheep, for example, is known for its thick wool, which provides protection from the cold, as well as its ability to survive on limited forage. In Xinjiang, Kazakh herders place a strong emphasis on breeding sheep that can thrive in the region's arid, mountainous environment. The Kazakh sheep is prized for its resilience and ability to produce high-quality wool and meat. In Tibet, the Tibetan sheep is similarly valued for its ability to survive in the harsh, high-altitude environment of the Tibetan Plateau. Tibetan herders carefully manage their flocks, ensuring that they have access to fresh grazing land and selecting sheep for their wool and meat production. Use of traditional knowledge and practices. Nomadic herders in China rely on a deep understanding of their environment and livestock, passed down through generations. Traditional knowledge plays a critical role in the success of nomadic pastoralism, as herders must be able to read the land, understand weather patterns, and manage their sheep in ways that ensure the long-term health of both the animals and the ecosystem. For example, in Inner Mongolia, herders use centuries-old practices to manage grazing and prevent overgrazing. By rotating their flocks between different pastures, they allow the land to recover and ensure that there is always enough forage for their sheep. In Tibet, nomadic herders have developed a deep connection to the land, which is reflected in their spiritual practices. Many Tibetan herders practice Tibetan Buddhism, and their relationship with their sheep is seen as a reflection of their connection to the natural world. Rituals and ceremonies are often performed to bless the flocks and ensure their health and prosperity. Challenges facing nomadic sheep farming in China. Environmental degradation. One of the biggest challenges facing nomadic sheep farming in China is environmental degradation, particularly the overgrazing of grasslands. In regions like Inner Mongolia, the expansion of agriculture, mining, and infrastructure development has put significant pressure on the grasslands, leading to soil erosion, desertification, and loss of biodiversity. The traditional practice of transhumance, which allowed herders to move their flocks and avoid overgrazing, has been disrupted by modern land use changes. As a result, many nomadic herders find it difficult to maintain their traditional way of life, as their access to grazing land is increasingly restricted. In Xinjiang, similar issues are at play, with the expansion of agriculture and industry, leading to the degradation of the region's grasslands. This has forced many Kazakh herders to either reduce the size of their flocks or abandon nomadic pastoralism altogether. Climate change. Climate change is another significant challenge for nomadic sheep farming in China. Rising temperatures, changing precipitation patterns, and extreme weather events are all impacting the health of the grasslands and the availability of grazing land. In Tibet, for example, melting glaciers and changes in the monsoon season are affecting the availability of water for both herders and their sheep. Similarly, in Inner Mongolia and Xinjiang, droughts and desertification are becoming more common, making it difficult for herders to find enough forage for their flocks. Socioeconomic pressures. In addition to environmental challenges, nomadic sheep farmers in China also face socioeconomic pressures. The modernization of agriculture, the expansion of urban areas, and government policies promoting sedentarization have all had a significant impact on the traditional nomadic way of life. In many regions, nomadic herders are being encouraged to settle in permanent villages and adopt more modern forms of agriculture. While this shift may provide certain economic benefits, it often leads to the loss of traditional knowledge and practices, as well as a weakening of the cultural ties that have sustained nomadic communities for generations. The future of nomadic sheep farming in China. Despite the many challenges facing nomadic sheep farming in China, there are also opportunities for the future. Efforts are being made to balance modernization with the preservation of traditional practices, ensuring that nomadic pastoralism can continue to play a vital role in China's agricultural and cultural landscape. Sustainable grazing practices. In response to the environmental challenges facing nomadic sheep farming, there is a growing focus on promoting sustainable grazing practices. Government programs and NGOs are working with herders to develop systems that allow for the regeneration of grasslands, such as rotational grazing and the use of fencing to protect sensitive areas. In Inner Mongolia, for example, herders are being encouraged to adopt conservation-based practices that help restore the health of the grasslands while allowing them to continue their traditional way of life. Similar efforts are underway in Xinjiang and Tibet, where herders are being supported in developing more sustainable grazing systems. Integration of modern technology. While traditional knowledge remains central to nomadic sheep farming, modern technology is also playing an increasingly important role. GPS tracking, drones, and satellite imaging are being used to monitor grazing patterns, assess the health of the grasslands, and help herders make more informed decisions about the management of their flocks. In some regions, smart farming technologies are being introduced to improve the efficiency and productivity of nomadic pastoralism. For example, automated systems for monitoring the health of sheep, managing feed, and tracking migration patterns are helping herders optimize their operations while reducing the impact on the environment. Cultural preservation and tourism. Finally, there is a growing recognition of the importance of cultural preservation in maintaining the traditional nomadic way of life. In many regions, efforts are being made to support nomadic communities in preserving their cultural heritage, including their traditional knowledge of sheep farming. Tourism is also playing a role in the preservation of nomadic culture. In places like Inner Mongolia and Tibet, nomadic sheep farming is being promoted as a key part of the region's cultural and natural heritage. Eco-tourism programs that allow visitors to experience life on the grasslands and learn about traditional herding practices are helping to raise awareness of the challenges facing nomadic communities, while also providing a source of income for herders. Conclusion. Nomadic sheep farming in China is a practice that has survived for thousands of years, despite the many challenges it faces. From the sweeping grasslands of Inner Mongolia to the high-altitude pastures of the Tibetan Plateau, nomadic pastoralism remains a vital part of China's agricultural and cultural landscape. As China continues to modernize, the future of nomadic sheep farming will depend on the ability of herders to adapt to new environmental, economic, and social realities. By embracing sustainable practices, integrating modern technology, and preserving cultural heritage, nomadic communities can continue to thrive and ensure that this ancient way of life endures for generations to come.
Thank you for watching. We appreciate your time and attention. Please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like, comment and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. We look forward to seeing you again soon.